Hello and welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Let's Interview the Finalists for the Dragon Age Season 3 campaign. We are here today with JoJo. Hello, JoJo.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, JoJo. How many interviews is this for you? Do you remember?
I I think this is might be my. I'm pretty sure this is my third one
Your
because
third interview. Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Well, third time might be the charm. We'll see.
yeah.
And as you can see, JoJo has selected one of his selections was Sam from the season 2 campaign. Sam, is so good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. I'm excited.
I am as well. Cool. Well, I will now pass it on to Sam. So take it away.
All right. So, JoJo, why do you think you deserve to be in the DA Season 3 roster?
Ooh, starting off hard question now. All right. I believe I deserve to be in because I believe I'm a pretty good player. I'm very good at coming up with ideas, and I think I'm a pretty good player and team player, and I'm very good at working off of other people's stuff. I think I have a pretty good sense of humor, and I'm pretty clever at times when I want to be.
So, kind of building off of that, I know you've mentioned a couple skills that you bring. As a player, how do you think those skills will enhance the dynamic between the other players at the table, and what sort of role do you see yourself taking?
Well, for this campaign, I'm hoping to be more of an instigator and to help improve their experience as well, and with role playing their characters. I'm pretty good with working with others and playing off of other people and their role play. And I'm very observant, and I have a pretty good memory, so I'm very good at keeping up details and being able to help focus the group at sometimes, or maybe redirect the group in some fun ways.
Okay. JoJo, if you had to give up your spot to one of the other auditioners, who would you give it up to and why?
That is a really hard question. You are not going easy on me. Ooh. Oh. I hate to show bias, but I have to give it to Ken because I know Ken really well, and I know they're a great player, and I know they would do an amazing job at it.
I think that answer makes a lot of sense, given that you guys are in the spinoff together. I think that 100% makes sense.
Yeah, there is a bit of bias there, and because I do know them really well.
That's fair. Hark, do you have anything to add?
I do. So JoJo, I have at least one follow-up question for you. So as you know, I've been doing these interviews for the last 6 years. So many people have either seen them done before, or like in your case, you've been in them before. In this case, as you said, you've done them 3 times. Because of that, I'm going to be a lot tougher with my questions. So, with you, JoJo, this is a question that I actually give to all of the players. So I'm not just putting you on the hot seat. I put everybody in the hot seat with this question. This is, what is Hark's biggest reservation for a player? So, JoJo, I have a very specific reservation for you. And this actually is a reservation that I've already talked to you about in the past.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, yeah, because this is something I've been trying to work on. I kind of take center stage a bit too much. I'm too overeager at times, and I sometimes don't share the stage often enough with my other fellow players. I'm trying to get better with this, and that's what I hope to do here more, and to show off my other players a bit better this time around.
I'm glad that you said that, because that is exactly what I was going to say. That you do have the tendency to dominate. You do have a tendency to steal the spotlight. I felt that in the case of the Orion campaign, there were plenty of opportunities that I thought would have been great for Vienno, who I felt didn't have as much screen time. And I felt that there were times that you, the player, kind of took over a little bit and took something that I thought would have been awesome for Vienna.
I completely agree with that. I was just starting to notice that as we go along that Vienna was not getting as much screen time, and I was getting way too much screen time.
So you started addressing it, but I want you to expand upon it more. Given that that is my biggest reservation for you as a player, what is your response to that? Other than, I'm going to try better. Okay, sure. How? Like, if you're saying, I'm going to try better, I want to know what your plan is. How specifically are you going to try to be better at that?
My biggest plan so far is I'm going to, sometimes when I feel like, when I notice that someone isn't saying a lot or hasn't been doing something a lot, I might try and ask them, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Or do you have anything you want to add? Or I want to look around. When someone is showing having their own scene and having their own little moments, I'm going to try and hang back a little and let them go when they need to.
Cool. Thank you very much for giving specific examples. Awesome. All right. That was it for me. So, Sam, back to you.
Okay, all right.
I feel like you're about to do the weather. Back to you, Sam.
Just so I'm pronouncing, your character's name is Velrik?
Yeah, Velrik Sano.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so Velrik, about a week ago, your crew received an invitation to come to the Frostback Basin in Ferelden. This is a way to boost morale, as the Council and Mage have invited some of the most well-known carnivals and circuses to their area. You and your crew have spent the better part of the day setting things up, but as the afternoon starts to settle into the evening and the events are starting to come alive, people are getting very excited. Children and adults have gathered and are starting to enjoy the performances. All the different carnival groups are putting on their best act, as it's also been rumored and mentioned that everyone who attends the events will get to judge on the best performance. The best in show will get a large amount of money and a sponsorship from a Pentavive Guardian. Velrik, your scheduled performance isn't for a few hours, so your troupe is still setting things up. So you have some time to check out the other shows, explore the competition, if you will.
Right.
So you're walking and mingling about. There's an explosion of senses. Music and food across all cultures are represented. People have gathered to different stages to dance and sing. Others are lingering near food stalls where sweet and savory are mixing together and invading the nostrils. People are quenching their thirst with juice and ale and everything in between. Between the games, the dancing, and the food, different ringleaders like yourself are calling for brave souls to enter their tents and witness the unbelievable and the daring. People are already whispering about an elven group that seem to dance in the air with acts of dexterity. Others are talking about a small group of dwarven brothers that sort of stacked on top of one another, seemingly defying gravity with balancing acts. As you walk, children are racing past you. Their faces are whimsically painted, along with arms in the shape of bracers as they shout, I get to be Cedric! I want to be Andrea! You always get to be Andrea! The evening is yours, Velrik. Where would you like to go?
Oh boy. I think he's going to, first things first, he's going to grab himself a little bit of grub to eat. He's going to enjoy himself before his performance. He's going to grab a little small thing of maybe like a little mutton of meat. Maybe like a chicken wing or something, and he's going to walk around, enjoy himself, enjoy the atmosphere of it. It's a really nice evening. He has a bit of a skip to his step as he just enjoys the area. He's not currently dressed in his ringleader outfit. He's dressed a bit down right now because he doesn't want to attract attention to himself right now, because that would attract attention away from the other carnivals, other performances right now.
Sure. You're hanging around the food stalls, you're enjoying the atmosphere, you're incognito, so you're dressed along with the other people. You notice across the way that there's like a sort of cotton candy stand, and people and children are really excited. And as they take a bite of their cotton candy, they get this really disgusted look on their faces and they're throwing it down and they're getting a little angry and mad. And you hear from the right of you this like laughing noise from another dwarf. She has her head turned towards you, sorry. And as she's wearing this faded blue dress, in a Ferelden style. However, as you note, she's moving her arm and hands in a way that only one another of her type would recognize the sort of faint blue aura emanating from her hand, as she seems to be using biotic abilities to sort of switch the salt and sugar around at these stands.
Oh boy.
You seem to be the only one who notices her. She has her back turned toward you. She has this very long, beautiful dark hair that's braided in very dwarven style.
Yeah. He's going to notice her, raise an eyebrow, and let out a sigh and shake of his head.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to approach from behind and say, "Really, really now, lass, you're going to must you really ruin other people's good day like this?"
She will turn around, and you actually recognize this person. She was a little bit older than you. Her name was Chessa. You haven't seen her in a very long time. She looks towards you, and she recognizes you well. She goes, a little bit of fun can't hurt. Besides, I was hired to do this.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all well and good, but this is supposed to be a day of joy and merriment, Chessa. The people visiting these performances in these stalls are supposed to be coming out happy.
I mean, I'm enjoying my joy and merriment. And it's fine. They're all having fun, and they'll talk about this for days. I'm surprised to see you here. I heard you were in the carnival act. You have your own performance coming out, don't you?
Well, yes, I do. Emma, do I take it that you're going to be watching?
Oh, probably. I was brought in to sort of mix things up, bring some fun into other people's lives.
I see. Well, I hope you have your fun today, but don't have too much fun at others' expense, please. This is a carnival after all.
Oh, I'm sure it will be a blast.
Of course you will.
Can't wait to see your performance later.
I'm sure it'll be quite a show.
It will be.
Yep. He takes a bite of his meat and he says, "Good day. I hopefully I see you later."
Oh, you will, Velrik. You will. And she sort of tosses her hair and then sort of disappears into the crowd. So you go ahead, you finish your food, you enjoy wandering around, and you hear 7 bells noting that it's about 7 o'clock. So you know you need to get to your tent to sort of hype up your performance. Your troupe has set up the stage beautifully. It's a big top tent. People are starting to walk in, but no one's really aware that there's an event going on, mostly because it's your job to bring them in. You have this beautiful sort of round stage, big enough just for you to sort of climb in the back and talk to the crowd that's gathered. So you step up, you see the crowd, they're sort of walking past. They look a little bit interested to see what you say. What do you say to bring the crowd in?
"Come one, come all, for the most fantastic performance of a lifetime. This is a once in a while chance, my friends. Come see Velrik Sano in the fantastic Circus of the Stars."
Ooh, wonderful. And that definitely gets people in. They get really excited and they start whispering, "Oh, what's this one going to be about? What's this one going to be about?" And they start entering the tent. You've got a stage sort of set in a U shape. There's sort of a ring down at the front. You have a set of trapeze artists. You've got a balancing wire. You are set and ready. You've come in, you've made your announcement. People are excited. The first performer goes on. It's a juggling darkspawn with knives. People are excited. You're stepped behind the curtain and you're sort of helping the other performers get ready for the act. You expect the crowd to be sort of nervous and excited with oohs and ahs, but they seem to be laughing, even a few boos. You sort of peek around the curtain and you notice the nugs have gotten loose and seem to be running around the juggler. And he's doing his best to keep his eye on the knives. He's already dropped one. He's got 4 left as these nugs sort of weave around. And you notice in the far up in the crowd, sort of a la Snape style, you see Chessa in the back messing around.
All right. I direct some of the clowns to go clean up the nugs and to act like this is all part of the performance, of course. that this was a mistake on the clown's part, and it was all intentionally part of the act. They all go in and start being a bit silly and acting like this was all part of the performance and all silly, while I could go up to go confront Chessa.
Sure. So the clowns are out there and they're sort of pretending that this is all just part of the act. The juggler's going with it, and he's sort of tossing up his knives higher so that he can dance around the clowns as well. And the people seem to really enjoy this, and they're laughing along, and they're staying, and they're very excited. Eventually the act ends and the band starts to play the next act. You know that the acts rely heavily on music cues when they go out. And as you're sort of exiting the stage, you hear the music for the trapeze artist to start. And they're sort of setting up. It's a lot of they get really excited as they start. Chessa sees you notice, and she sort of steps up and moves and continues, and she starts messing with the band's music. Now, the trapeze artists are still doing their act. And you notice that Chessa has activated a sort of bigger drum, announcing the strong man to come out at the same time. So Kanari, assuming that it is time for him to go, he has filed down horse. He rushes out, waving to the crowd, and the crowd seems very excited that all these trapeze artists are going to lift this man up into the air. Yeah. The trapeze artists are looking terrified and confused, and Chessa just waves at you and motions for you to do something.
I nod my hat to her. I twirl my cane and face my ains and say, I look down to him and I just nod to go along with it for now as I ready myself. When they go, I'm going to subtly help them pull off this stunt with the strong man. Just subtly using my powers to help them lift him up as they go, as I approach Chessa.
So you're sort of, help me out here, you're using your biotic abilities to...
Yeah, he's using his biotic abilities to help them pull off this stunt of lifting the strong man.
Got you. Okay, so you sit there and you concentrate as the trapeze artist gulp and try to lift him, and suddenly he feels light as a feather as you sort of lift the strong man. And as he's sort of tossing and turning, you're focusing and helping him along. This is going to take your concentration to do as you're focusing on this event to make sure you don't drop him. You might let him fall dramatically just a little bit, but you hold him up, sort of finishing off the show. And by the time this act ends, Chessa has disappeared into the crowd. The people are excited and they're very thrilled. They have no idea how this crazy act was performed. So seemingly everything goes off without a hitch. Everything seems planned and perfect, and you have succeeded in your presentation. Later on in the events, everything has sort of died down and people are gathered at the final stage. There's a woman with long hair and thick furs. She's got a small golden crown on her head. It's sort of shaped like ivory. And she's making this speech when you and your troop finally appear. The people are cheering and laughing. There's this well-dressed man standing behind her holding something small in his arms as he laughs along with her speech. And she continues, so without further ado, I'd like to announce the winner of tonight's events. And I'd like to congratulate the brothers Cask and Ale, the two Strongman brothers, and she'll invite the two dwarven folk who had created this perfect active balance. Off to the side, you sort of see Chessa standing next to the two dwarven brothers. They will get a large amount of gold, of course, but we also have a second place winner who we have decided will earn the sponsorship of the Pentavive Guardian. And she sort of looks in the crowd and she sees you, Velrik. Please step up.
He nods his head and politely bows to her as he approaches with, thank you very much.
Your troop was astounding. I don't know how you did those events. Really, it was quite fascinating to watch.
Oh, it takes a lot of practice, my friend, but a great amount of willingness to bring the smiles to our audience.
Wonderful. Well, I enjoyed the shenanigans. And I also have a sponsorship and a small stipend for you too. And she sort of motions over. You guys are nearby your airship, and already she's had some of the Avarians. They have this large sort of canvas rolled up. and she sort of signals for them to drop. She goes, "Congratulations on your sponsorship." And the canvas rolls down, and it says, "This is my favorite carnival in Thedas," and it's a picture of a stern-looking Templar with a thumbs up next to him.
Yes. Oh, I know who that is, and I love it.
And the rest of the nights continue. The rest of the carnivals sort of intermingle and have fun, and there's dancing and singing and merriment all around.
He enjoys his evening. He takes the time to relax. He goes over to check with his people and make sure everything goes. But once everything is taken care of and squared away, he's going to enjoy the evening and the merriment that's going on, and just maybe partake in some of the dancing. Though he's going to dress down a bit once he does.
Lovely.
He doesn't want to attract too much attention when he's not performing.
You and your troupe have a great time that night.
But he also keeps an eye out for Chess in case she's up to anything.
She seems to have gotten what she wanted.
Yeah.
So she sort of disappeared. But yeah, you have a great time with your troupe, and it's a wonderful night of relaxation and music, food, dance, drink, if you'd like to partake.
Yeah. He'll have a few drinks. He's a dwarf.
All right, and that's the scene.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the dual act of Velrik Sano and the player JoJo. These two will provide a great amount of fun to any campaign seeking them. JoJo is a good player who is willing to work well with others and is always seeking to improve. And Velrik Sano is a fun-loving dwarf who enjoys the entertaining others and bringing a smile to a face. There's plenty of fun times to be had with these two. I take a long bow. Thank you, everyone.